The Chimera may be Thrawn's most famous and last known flagship in both Legends and Canon, at least so far, but in both continuities he had a long career with various postings, flagships, and personal commands leading up to that point. Thrawn's known career as a commanding officer doesn't just end on the same ship in both continuities, it starts that way too. Timothy Zahn tends to approach his stories in both Legends and Canon as part of the same overall story, at least for the most part. So, in both Outbound Flight, the Legends novel, and the Canon Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy, Thrawn commands the Springhawk, a cruiser in the Chiss Ascendancy's expansionary defense force. This ship was somewhere north of 100 meters, though it never has an established size or appearance. The only Chiss ship we really see in either continuity directly is this one, Admiral Ar'alani's Steadfast. I don't really hold this as a likely sign of how future artists would handle Chiss designs though, considering it's just a Macross fighter that's someone traced upside down, so it's a thing from a different franchise used just for this comic image. The Springhawk was used by Thrawn during the conflict with the Vagari and the Trade Federation in Outbound Flight. In the Ascendancy trilogy, it was used in the campaigns against the Nakardun and their allies. While the Springhawk was the first ship we know of under Thrawn's command, we do know in canon that he served aboard the Parala, which was commanded by Ar'alani. From here though, we'll stick with Legends first and move to canon afterwards. We know Thrawn moved quickly through the ranks after Captain Voss Park picked him up from exile, taking him into the Empire. At some point, he even worked as an instructor at the Imperial Academy on Karita, but little is known about his direct postings until closer to the Battle of Yavin. The lowest rank he holds with a confirmed posting that I'm aware of in Legends is in the book Dark Forces Soldier of Fortune, when he was captain of the Vengeance, an Imperial Star Destroyer commanded by Jarek, an Inquisitor best known as a primary antagonist in the Dark Forces games. As Vengeance's captain, Thrawn participated in the subjugation of the planet Sulon around a year before the Battle of Yavin. Shortly following the Battle of Yavin in the novel Choices of One by Timothy Zahn, Thrawn is now a senior captain and he has the ship which he commands most of the time in Legends, the Admonitor, even if Admonitor is not as iconic as the Chimera. This is the ship which he uses in his campaigns against Nuso Esfa, his main enemy while working in the Unknown Regions under Palpatine's orders and while secretly setting up the Empire of the Hand, his personal empire mixing Chiss, Imperial, and local groups. While he doesn't remain on Admonitor the whole time, transferring his flag to other ships outside of the region when necessary after he becomes an admiral, he does come back to it frequently when dealing with the Unknown Regions. This is true more or less up until his death 9 years later. We even have a story in 8 ABY, the year before his death, called Crisis of Faith, where he's in command of Admonitor working against Nuso Esfa once again. After Thrawn became an admiral, Dagon Neres became the captain of the Admonitor, and the ship remained in Thrawn's empire. In Empire at War Forces of Corruption, Thrawn has Admonitor as his flagship in the known galaxy as well, and in that game the ship has a custom blue hull. Most of Thrawn's operations in the known galaxy, outside of his appearance in Forces of Corruption in this period, are in the TIE Fighter games, and primarily have to do with then Vice Admiral Thrawn's campaigns against the rogue Grand Admiral Zarin, whose coup attempt I've broken down in a profile on Zarin himself. These campaigns are what paved the way for Thrawn's promotion up to his final rank of Grand Admiral. There are also some more local uprisings Thrawn puts down as well. Thrawn has a variety of flagships and different missions here, including the Victory 1 Star Destroyer, Seltor, and the Imperial Star Destroyers Vanguard and Grey Wolf. Most of these ships are essentially one-offs for different missions rather than getting much attention elsewhere, and all of them overlap with Thrawn's time in command of the Admonitor, which is largely spent in the Unknown Regions after this point. When Thrawn does return from the Unknown Regions for the last time to take command of the Empire, he chooses Captain Pallion's Chimera for his flagship, a ship and captain he'd cooperated with earlier when he himself was still a captain in Choices of One. From the bridge of Chimera, Thrawn executed at least one of the most successful campaigns against the New Republic of any Imperial, if not the most successful. It only ended when he was assassinated by his own bodyguard, Rook. In canon, Thrawn ends up in command of the Chimera far earlier than in Legends, and in this continuity it also has the neat painting on the bottom. Where in Legends he transfers his flag to the ship long after Endor, in canon he first becomes the captain of the ship, maintaining it as his flagship in the 7th Fleet after becoming an admiral and then Grand Admiral. While commanding the Chimera in canon, one of Thrawn's most notable campaigns was against the Grisk, a species who posed a significant threat to the Chiss Ascendancy and to the galaxy, the defeat of whom are the reason Thrawn wanted to work with the Empire in the first place, and who we may be able to expect in Thrawn's upcoming stories, though that motivation behind Thrawn is a whole other can of worms. The other of his most notable campaigns is the subjugation of Lothal in Star Wars Rebels, ending with him, Ezra, and the Chimera itself being taken by the Purrgil to Peridea. Chimera was pretty messed up when this happened, but Ahsoka Episode 6 is coming out the night I release this video, so we may be about to see its return to action against the New Republic. If we jump back a bit to before he became the captain of Chimera, we do know 2 other ships that Thrawn served on thanks to the Canon Galactic Civil War era Thrawn trilogy. First is the Bloodcrow, a Gozanti cruiser where Thrawn served as a lieutenant under Captain Virgilio. And second was Thrawn's first position as captain in the Empire, aboard the Arquitens-class Thunderwasp. That's it for Thrawn's flagships, at least so far. If Chimera is too messed up, then maybe we'll see him get another new ship very soon. I've done another flagship breakdown video like this on another character who happens to also be in Ahsoka, Hera Syndulla, so I'll link that in the description and a pinned comment as well if you want to check it out. Let me know in a response to that comment if there's any other characters you'd want to have a similar breakdown for. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.